I was talking to a friend in Chicago yesterday. She said it was raining in Chicago.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah.
Saturday. Yeah. Hey, Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa.
Hey, Alyssa.
Hi, hi. Hello.
It's your God Call with Reverend Bill.
Be love now. Right here and right now. You have the opportunity to be anything that you want to be, to do anything that you want to do. And I'm inviting you, regardless of what you do, to be love. It's an invitation that's always open to you, and there's the opportunity to make the love that we are shine even brighter in each moment. Be love today.
I had a dream so big and loud, I jumped so high, I touched the clouds. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. I stretched my hands out to the sky, we danced with monsters through the night. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. I'm never gonna look back, whoa, I'm never gonna give it up. No, please don't wake me now. Ooh, this is gonna be the best day of my life. My life. Ooh, this is gonna be the best day of my life. My life. I hobbled at the moon with friends, and then the sun came crashing in. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, all the possibilities, no limits, just epiphanies. Oh, 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 oh. I'm never gonna look back. Whoa, I'm never gonna give it up. No, please don't wake me now. This is gonna be the best day of my life. My life. This is gonna be the best day of my life. My life. I hear it calling outside my window. I feel it in my soul. The stars were burning so bright, the sun was out till midnight. I say we lose control, yeah. Ooh, this is gonna be the best day of my life.
Oh, beautiful, Alyssa. And what a wonderful way to start off the celebration where the title is, what are you expecting? Best day of my life? That's a nice expectation to set. So we'll get into some more details about that. Good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. Here we are on Zoom again and preparing for reemergence. We're coming out of the cocoon and turning into butterflies any minute now as we get past the hump of the pandemic. So you guys know what the usual drill is for Sunday celebrations on Zoom. You keep your mic muted all the time, except when we're going to join together in a joyful noise, like now. So go ahead and unmute your microphone and repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself to love.
I open myself to joy.
I open
myself to joy.
I open myself to peace and harmony.
I open myself to peace and harmony.
I expect the best.
I expect the best.
And so it is.
And so it is.
You can turn your muter back on now as I remind you that New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. Whatever brought you to our Zoom today, wherever you're headed next, we have been waiting for you. We have been expecting you. Welcome home. We believe there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we each use that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. We'll get into a little more detail on that. The way we say it for short is your new life begins with a new thought. So if you have an extra electronic device that might be distracting to you during the celebration, you can go ahead and switch it to shush because you do not need to have that running for the next hour or so as we put our attention inwards. I'm Reverend Bill Marcioni. Our music today, the amazing Alyssa Garcia, and our practitioner for the celebration is Joe Catanzaro, RSCP, who will begin, as we begin everything, with a practical prayer.
Good morning, everyone. Take a breath with me and drop into that center of your being, that inner space where you let go of doingness and become or tap into your beingness, your spirit, your soul, your essence, that place where you connect with your own divinity. Feel that energy, notice that space. Sense the quietness, the expansiveness. Know that this is the place of oneness. The place where we merge with the one mind, the one power, the one love and intelligence, with that unifying field where we connect with everything, each other, everything and everyone else we share this planet with. I know that the one power, love, intelligence, that force, that energy, that spirit is the unifying force in my life, your life, our lives. We create with it, through it, and as it. We celebrate all this today. We celebrate this as we come together, continue that creation, to bring into our lives all the peace, joy, love, harmony, balance, wisdom, abundance, that each one of us, whatever it is, each one of us desires, intends the best day of our life. And so in gratitude for all of this good that I know we create now, I release my word to the law. I know it is so. I know it happens now. And I know that that universal force says yes. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Joe. And the reason that we do practical prayer isn't because we owe it to God or because there's some particular requirement. It's actually a very straightforward mechanism for changing the experience we're having in our lives, because practical prayer gets a result. So I would love to have some prayer work stories shared here. I see that Annie jumped on the into the Zoom. So if you're able to unmute, I know that Annie has a prayer work story for us. Money Annie.
Hey everybody, I do. So I was praying for more abundance, joy, and prosperity, and I found out the other day that I got some more income coming my way. There was no I was just open to receiving it. I didn't really have to do anything else. It just came home got a letter in my hand that said this is more money coming your way, and significantly more. So I'm really excited about that. I took a pay cut to get a job that fit my needs better. And I said, I'm knowing that, this is more good and more joy and more abundance, despite what it seemed like. Oh, I'm going to make less money. I'm actually making way more money. And, I don't know, I just let go, and it was amazing. Additionally, my daughter, she wanted to get a job, and she didn't even apply for a job. She just opened up her phone the one day and she had a text message offering her a job. And I was knowing that for her as well. So it's just all good and more good. And we're in the flow and feeling amazing about it.
That is awesome as usual, Annie. Thank you so much. Anybody else have a prayer work story that you'd like to share? Is that Sandy's hand going up, or are you just adjusting the screen? Okay. Annie sets the bar ridiculously high when she shares first. But the things, it shows up as, unexpected increase in income. It shows up as coincidental meetings with friends. It shows up in all sorts of different ways. So and we'll be talking about that more later on. So let's open ourselves up to some more good. And here's some good. Sarah has some announcements for us.
Good morning, everybody. This enthralling information can be found on our website at newthoughtphilly.org and in our weekly e-newsletter. Please sign up on the website so we can all keep in touch. Twice a day, we have a community check-in and meditation on Zoom. They're inspiring and fun and are less than 15 minutes. Everyone is welcome. The Unexpected Income Club is running through the 4th of July. Join for a fun way to prove prosperity principles. You'll do a daily prosperity prayer. When unexpected income shows up, you'll donate 10% of that to New Thought Philly. Sign up online and be ready for your financial independence day. We'd love to have you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and also join the Philly Spiritual Adventurers group on meetup.com. The Power of 8 Intention Circle meets Mondays at 7 p.m. Contact Sandy for info. The Regional Men's Group meets Monday at 7 p.m. The Women's Group meets the fourth Thursday at 7 p.m. You can contact Joe or Sandy for info on that. The Teen Group will meet on June 13th at 7 p.m. also on Zoom. Our summer class will be Roots of New Thought, which will give you fascinating beach reading from Ralph Waldo. I can't speak today, and I was supposed to practice this too. Ralph Waldo Emerson, Emma Curtis Hopkins, and other people with 3 interesting names that Sarah cannot pronounce, apparently. Set aside Thursday evenings beginning in June. You heard a God call at the beginning of the celebration. You can subscribe to get God calls on your phone, interrupting you at random times 4 times a week, with a reminder that you are a bright light of God's love. I love the God calls. Thank you to the production team and presenters who make our Zoom celebrations work. There's a short technical rehearsal on Saturday afternoon and a final check-in before the celebration on Sunday. To join the team, contact Carla Ann. We're looking for a new location to meet in person when it's safe to do so. If you have an idea for a Sunday location, contact Breen or Reverend Bill. Next Sunday is Mental Velocity with Reverend Renee Laboa, talking about how our thoughts change the landscape of our life and how the momentum builds as we learn to guide and focus the tendency of our thinking. Live original music will be by Ginger Coyle, and May 30th is the 5th Sunday Healing Celebration with music by Dina and Jim Wade in the same room, which will be very exciting. The practitioners are available by appointment for professional prayer. After the celebration today, Joe will also be available for a Miracle in a Minute prayer at no charge. We will leave the Zoom meeting open for us to talk amongst ourselves at the end.
Thank you, Sarah. Yay. And I am looking through the participants list, and everybody is familiar. So welcome back to everybody. And usually what we do is we welcome our new visitors and our second timers. What we're going to do this time is we're going to bless each other. So rub your hands together, generate some warmth, make eye contact with some of the other folks in the gallery, and send out that love, knowing that we are the bright light of God's love. So grateful for the way that we're shining the light and sharing the love. Welcome home. As Alyssa does the next song, go ahead and go to gallery view or switch around so that you can see the other folks. Make eye contact and recognize that you are looking at the eyes of God with the eyes of God. Melissa?
You can't stand on your own. Feels like there's nowhere else to go. You're not alone. The odds are against you. They close the door, say you can't get through. But that's not the truth. When there's a will, there's a way. When there's a heart, there's nothing they can say to tear you down, make you feel like no one's on your side. 'Cause I'll be there to tell them we can do better, we can do better. Don't hide, decide we can do better, we can do better. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? We can do better again. You're fighting, there's no use, up on their pedestals like they can't hear you. But they do. Make them listen, make a difference, make them see what they've been missing. It's up to you. When there's a will, there's a way. When there's a heart, there's nothing they can say to tear you down, make you feel like no one's on your side. 'Cause I'll be there to tell them we can do better, we can do better. Don't hide, decide we can do better, we can do better. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? We can do better again. You can't stand on your own. Feels like there's nowhere else to go. You're not alone.
Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you. Patricia will now lead us in the Flames of Faith. Patty, you're muted.
Sorry.
There we go.
We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call Spirit of God. We honor the richness that comes from us, share diversity, and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the paths of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual practices. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. Our reading today is from Science of Mind magazine and brought to us by Jennifer.
So today's reading is from, as Reverend Bill said, Daily Guides in Science of Mind magazine by Eugene Holden. And it's titled Stay Tuned. And it begins with a quote by George Washington Carver. I love to think of nature as an unlimited broadcasting station through which God speaks to us every hour, if we will only tune in. And it's followed by a second quote by Ernest Holmes. Spirit is changeless reality. That which we call personality is the instrument through which spirit operates. But spirit can operate for the individual only by operating through him. Staying tuned means remaining in harmony with the one. Like keeping the violin tuned, we keep ourselves ready to be used as the instrument of the divine. We each have our part to play in this great piece of music called life. Taking time to be still is how we stay in tune with the infinite. Tune into the divine spirit within you that is always guiding you to experience your heart's desire. You are here to listen and then manifest the glory of God. The glory of God, as it flows through you, will show up in many different ways. Whatever your heart desires to express can only come from you. You are the instrument through which God's desire for your life is brought forth and shared with the world. It's also important to stay tuned to what may be getting in the way of expressing your highest and best. Maybe it's a lack of forgiveness. Maybe it's being attached to a certain outcome that didn't happen. Maybe it's being angry because something didn't go your way. Whatever it is, be aware that it is causing discord in your life. Then retune by becoming still and knowing that God lives, moves, and has its being in you and as you. Stay tuned to the goodness of life. And the affirmation is, I am one with God. I am in harmony with the all good of life, and I am grateful.
I'm wrong, should have done better than this. Please, I'll be strong. I'm finding it hard to resist. So show me what I'm looking for. Show me what I'm looking for. Save me, I'm lost. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for you. I'll pay any cost. Just save me from being confused. And show me what I'm looking for. Show me what I'm looking for. Oh Lord. Don't let go. I've wanted this for too long. Mistakes become regrets, and I've learned to love abuse. So show me what I'm looking for. Show me what I'm looking for. Save me, I'm lost. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for you. I'll pay any cost to save me from being confused. And show me what I'm looking for. Show me what I'm looking for.
Thank you, Melissa. It's beautiful. And congratulations on learning to play the guitar. All sorts of new things are happening. So the talk today is, what are you expecting? And that's a very broad question. It's the sort of thing that you can hear from supervisors or parents or other people who, will fold their arms and say, well, what are you expecting? As though there's some judgment that's involved in the expectations. Expectations are tied directly to our beliefs. When we believe something, then we expect that to be operating. For example, take a deep breath in, deep full breath right now. Let it go. Were you expecting there to be an adequate amount of oxygen in that breath to let you survive through this next period of your life? Probably. That was a belief that goes beyond something that you have to think about. That's your expectation. We fully expect that. And that's what happens. And I'm not completely convinced that the reason there's oxygen in the air is because we believe it. That's kind of the pattern of things. But that's one of those things we just don't think about. There are lots of things, though, that we don't think about that have become the background, the wallpaper of our lives as we are going through them. And it's those unstated expectations that in so many ways are influencing or directing or controlling our lives. I'm going to tell you a story about a very famous person you may or may not have heard of, who over the course of his lifetime received many awards. He had 100 patents, and he's on Time Magazine's top 50 list. In fact, he's got 2 positions on that list. And I'll tell you a little story that sounds pretty impressive. And his story is one about expectations and aligning our expectations. For our own lives, our expectations are what are the experience of our life. It's all done unto us as we believe. In fact, there are a couple of different places in the New Testament. In Matthew 21:22, all things whatsoever you ask for in prayer, believing, you shall receive. And Mark 11:24, all things whatsoever you pray and ask for, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them. There's the key part in there is not that we should be praying. And ask is more about putting on a demand than making a request. But it's all about believing. It is done as you believe. And because so much of our life is the outworking of whatever it is we're believing, it's probably a pretty good idea to understand what our expectations are, what our beliefs are, so that we can either go with them, understand what is making our life experience be what it is, or maybe to change them. Any sort of repetitive behavior, addictive behavior, people who get into jobs where their boss is always a jerk and they struggle and they are not happy with their job. The one thing that all those jobs have in common is whoever it is that has the job. Same thing with, if we get into a relationship and it turns sideways and it winds up with heartbreak and breakup, and it keeps happening over and over again. Well, those other people aren't there anymore. It is the expectation that we have that we're going to be attracting that sort of a relationship, that we're going to be that sort of a person when we're in the relationship, and the expectation that, they always go sideways. I always have difficulties with my boss. I'm always struggling for money. I'm always whatever it is. And a lot of times we don't have the outward comment of those sorts of things. Those are inward beliefs. Those are things that, like I said, they're wallpaper. They're decorating our lives, and we don't notice that they're there until we decide that we want to have a different experience, that we want to have a change. And when we do, what we want to do is change our thinking, but more importantly, change our believing, so we can set a new expectation about the life experience we want to have. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Thomas Midgley Jr. He was born in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania in 1889. And he went to an Ivy League school, got a degree in mechanical engineering, and also he became a chemist. He went to work for General Motors. And General Motors, in the early 1920s was having some challenges because gasoline didn't have enough octane and the engines would knock. And that was a problem because it could damage the engines and it just wasn't good. They could boost the octane by putting ethanol, which you make from distilling grain, but that was expensive and impractical. And what they really wanted to do was come up with a chemical compound that they could put into the gasoline that would solve the problem with the engines knocking. And even better would be if it were a commercial product that they could patent so they could sell it, because you can't patent turning corn into alcohol. It's the sort of thing that has been going on for an awfully long time. So he's working in a group at General Motors, and they come up with ethyl. They invented ethyl gasoline. And the compound that Thomas Midgley Jr. and his boss co-patented is called TEL, or tetraethyl lead. Yep, he's the guy who invented leaded gasoline. And he was very successful. They sold a lot of TEL. They created a company called the Ethyl Gasoline Company to sell the stuff. There were some problems in the manufacturing facility in New Jersey, and then I think later in Delaware, that the people who worked there kept dying or hallucinating or losing their minds. And so by the time that happened to 8 or 10 people working at the plant, there were questions. And so they looked into it. And Thomas Midgley, who was at that point, he was notable. He had got won an award from the American Chemical Society for this invention of TEL. He circled the wagons. He wanted to protect. So that's press conference. And he said, no, this stuff is perfectly safe. And so he got some of the tetraethyl lead and he put his hands in it and he sniffed it for a full minute and told the assembled press that he could do that every day with no problem. And so they went and wrote their stories and did their reports. They opened up another plant and more people had problems at the other plant. And Thomas Midgley Jr. had to take a leave of absence because he came down with lead poisoning. Yeah, as you would fully well expect. So he did not set out to be the bad guy who invented lead for leaded gasoline. He had an idea. He set an expectation that he wanted to solve a problem, but he was very much focused on solving the problem by bringing chemistry to this business situation. And he wasn't paying attention to what the other implications of that might be. And in fact, even though people knew that lead wasn't good for humans, it didn't seem like that big of a deal until the 70s when they decided that lead in gasoline actually was a problem and started switching over to unleaded gasoline for other commercial reasons. Is there anything in your life where you had the best intentions? Were you expecting a wonderful result and it just has not worked out the way that you wanted it to? Sometimes those are active right now. Sometimes those are things that you can think back on and go, oh, well, there was this experience that I had and I didn't realize at the time how involved I was in setting it up. But with the activities that I was involved in, it played out exactly the way that I would have expected if I had known then what I know now. So the question becomes, what's the best version of your life that you can imagine? What is the best that you believe is possible? And it's a wonderful exercise to go through because you can just, blue sky. Don't accept any limitations from the past or don't make any assumptions that you can't have something in your life. Try them on. Try them out. See, what would happen if I had this sort of a relationship? What would happen if I had this sort of an income? What would happen if I had this sort of a job? How would that feel? How would that be? What would my life be like if I would dance in public? What would my life be like if I had a new hobby or shared my gifts in a different way? What's the best version of your life? Consider what the possibilities are. And as you go through that, as you go through the card catalog of the things that you could do, and see what you're drawn to. See what you believe could be possible. And then the challenge is to get out of the way. Is to get out of our way and stop letting any previous expectations, previous beliefs, anything that's hidden back there that told us that we couldn't do it, that we weren't worth it, that we didn't deserve it, get those out of the way and open to a new possibility. It is very, very simple to explain that. It is not easy to do because you are surrounded by the wallpaper of your past. You are surrounded by all of those patterns and all of those images and all of those colors and tones and textures that let you believe that whatever has happened up until now is going to continue happening. Take another deep breath. Let it go. More oxygen. There was more oxygen in that one. And the last time you thought about the oxygen in your breath was the first time we did that exercise at the beginning of my talk. And it keeps on working and it keeps on being there because that's the way it is. And the tone and texture and pattern of our lives is what it is and will continue being what it is until we make a change to it. Until we make a change to it. So I was involved in technical scuba diving for a while. And I know what happens to air when we take it down and breathe it under pressure. So does Joe, but that's because she ran hyperbaric chambers, not because she was into scuba diving. And it's possible when I go scuba diving that I can just bring a tank of air with me, 19% oxygen, 80% nitrogen. Or I can mix other stuff in. I can put additional nitrogen in or additional oxygen in, or I can put in an inert gas, or I can do something different. I can put helium in there because it makes the effect of the air different. But that's a circumstance where I'm taking control of how much oxygen is in the air. Normally, we don't do that. We have the opportunity to change other things in our lives. And again, the question is, what's the best version of your life? What's the best you can possibly imagine happening? And then what's the best possible that you could believe in? So I was talking about Thomas Midgley Jr. and his father was also an inventor, but they're ran in the family. Anyway, he came back from his leave of absence and got another job working with a unit at GM again. And this time was to solve a different problem. And he was notable at this point. He was being honored by the American Chemical Society. He won one of the Priestley honor, I think, or the Priestley Medal, which was their highest honor. And the challenge then was refrigeration systems, because the refrigerants were things like ammonia and other things that were really dangerous and could explode. So they wanted something that would be safer. And Thomas Midgley Jr. invented Freon. Yep, chlorofluorocarbons, which were later banned because they're so bad for the atmosphere and depleted the ozone layer and the rest of that. But that was his other claim to fame. If you have a chance, read the entry in Wikipedia on Thomas Midgley Jr. There's a quote in it that says, quote, "Midgley's legacy has been scarred by the negative environmental impacts of leaded gasoline and Freon." You think? You think? Yeah. Because if you could think of the two man-made things that have damaged the environment the most, those would be it. And I also mentioned that he made Time Magazine Top 50 list twice. It was the list of the 50 worst inventions of all time. And Thomas Midgley Jr. got 2 of them. And he was still the president and chairman of the American Chemical Society. Because in the field that he was in, yeah, okay, there's some issues and some problems with that. And in fact, we didn't find out as a society just exactly what the devastating impact of all of it was until well after his demise. It turns out in the 1940s, he got polio. And so he was paralyzed. And being an inventor, he came up with this system of ropes and pulleys and gadgets that he could use to get himself in and out of bed. And there was a something went wrong and he wound up strangling himself in 1944. And that's one of those things where you say, that's awful, that's terrible. But on the other hand, the guy was in his 50s. If he had a chance to make another invention to change the world, we might not have survived it. Thomas Midgley Jr. did not set out to damage or harm anything. In each of those circumstances, he was doing the best that he could, the best that he knew how. And the society around him was telling him, good job, nicely done, it's working well. It's only in hindsight that it turns out that maybe there could have been something different. So with that as our cautionary tale, what's the best version of your life that you can believe in? What's the highest and best that you can possibly imagine? I will make the recommendation, as you go through the exercise, as you open yourself up to possibilities, have it be, what is the highest and best for me and everyone? And it's not because we need to be scared that we're going to inadvertently invent Freon. It's because there is a power in the universe that we can harness. Ernest Holmes says that there's a power for good in the universe bigger than you are, and you can use it, and you can. And you can use it to create the life of your dreams. You are already using it to create the life of your dreams, and you can dream bigger, and you can dream grander, and you can dream more healthy and more loving and more prosperous and more connected and more creative and more peaceful. You choose more spiritual, actually, feeling of deeper spirituality, because you can't be any more spiritual than you are. You're 100% spiritual right now. But as you go through that exercise, include that it's uplifting and positive and affirmative for everyone. I love the term life affirming. Highest and best, unfolding with love and ease for me and everyone involved. Life affirming and positive. There's good that's available in the universe, in the world. It's at hand right now. So what we need to do, no, we don't need to do anything. You don't even need to take a next breath. You can. And if you take a next breath, then there's going to be oxygen in it, plenty of it for you. What we have the opportunity to do is to set an intention, to create a new expectation. The grandest thing that we can possibly believe possible, and just set the expectation that that's what's coming to us and get out of the way. Practical prayer is a wonderful technique for being able to do that, from turning from the current situation, setting a new intention, opening ourselves up to something new, and then inviting it in. And the active participant is you. And then what gets to happen is you get to live that life of your dreams. Let it be as grand as you can possibly imagine, because you deserve it. We all deserve it. And so it is. Thank you.
All right. I made a home in the basement. I didn't think that I'd need the light, 'cause all these plans that I'm making get me out of here in time. It's always 2 steps backwards, too much gravity to feel the highs. And all these plans I've been chasing are getting caught up and wasted. I don't know where the money goes. I get broke as the city glows, shines bright as I sink down low, down low. But I've got plans to get to you, you know, don't you know? Gonna build a paper plane to get to you, you know, don't you know? We'll be scraping the skies with our fingertips, singing, this is the life, we were born for this. So I've got plans to get to you, you know, don't you know, you know. I've got a hope in the headlights. I'm stood still, but I'm feeling fine, 'cause all these plans I've been making get me out of here in time. It's always 2 steps backwards, too much gravity to feel the highs. And all these plans I've been making keep getting caught up and wasted. I don't know where the money goes. I get broke as the city glows, shines bright as I sink down low, sink down low. But I've got plans to get to you, you know, don't you know? Gonna build a paper plane to float to you, you know, don't you know? We'll be scraping the skies with our fingertips, singing this is the life, we were born for this. So I've got plans to get to you, you know, don't you know, don't you know? I've got plans to get to you, I know, gonna build a paper plane to float to you, you know, don't you know? We'll be scraping the skies with our fingertips, singing this is the life, we were born for this. So I've got plans to get to you, you know, don't you know, you know.
Thank you, Alyssa. That was lovely. We're going to settle into some meditation right now. And I thought we would focus on staying tuned in to the goodness of life. Not always easy, but doesn't mean we can't work on it. Take a few moments and settle into your chair, comfortable. Again, drop into that space inside where you're pure beingness. Relax your body. Let's start with 3 deep breaths. Take a deep breath in. Hold it at the top and release. And one more breath. Take it in, hold it at the top and release. Feel the change and the tension in your body. Take that last deep breath. Bring it in, hold it at the top. And let all that tension melt away. Sink down. Stretch out. I stay tuned to the goodness of life. I expect the best version of my life. And I believe in my good. What do you expect? What do you believe in? You may have an answer. You may need to consider it. But as you do that, as you focus on the breathing in and out, imagine yourself staying tuned to the goodness of life. Just breathe into that
Invite yourself to ask this question. What is the greatest version of my life that I can imagine? What is the most joyous, peaceful, and wonderful experience of life that I can imagine? What is the highest and best experience that I can believe in? Open yourself up to the guidance of what that is. And it could be in any area of life. It could be about health and physical well-being, comfort. It could be about prosperity, finances, adequacy of resources, enoughness. It could be about relationships and love. The beloved, of family, of colleagues, co-workers, friends, associates. Creativity in the way that you're sharing your work in the world. Spirituality and the connectedness of your practice, whatever area it is, or it could be multiple areas. What is the best version that you could possibly believe in? And consider, are you willing to put away anything that's not like that? Because knowing that there is one infinite creative power that creates everything, everything is God's love taking form in its own unique and specific and special way. And that includes each of us. We are that bright light of God's love, right here and right now and always. And so that good that's available anywhere is available everywhere, and it's available to us. That experience we're seeking is seeking us. Those experiences of highest and best unfolding with love and ease are available to us to the extent that we are able to ask for them, believe. And so what I claim now is that each of us individually and all of us together are making those claims in a more profound and more centered way than we ever have up until now. That intention for that joyous and delightful experience of life is even more solid than it's ever been, and it is active. It is active as a new belief, as a new invitation for a new experience of life for each of us and for all of us. And that good is already on its way. The infinite creative power that creates everything is in the process of creating that for us now, in ways that we can't possibly imagine, but in hindsight will be completely reasonable. This good is unfolding now, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the stories. I'm grateful for the willingness that each one has to take part in this process. I'm grateful for the ability and the inspiration to let go of some of the old wallpaper and embrace the new. And I'm grateful to be able to speak this word of intent and release it into that creative law, knowing that the law is already saying yes. This good is already underway. And so I let it be, and so it is. Go ahead and take another deep, intentional breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Let your awareness come back into your body. As you're comfortable, you can open your eyes as Alyssa sings another song for us.
I'm a broken melody, marching to the beat of my enemies. I have a misconception of beauty and perfection. direction, headed in a direction of correction and self-doubt. I have desires of climbing higher than I deserve to be. I crave attention, affection, and your acceptance of me. I want nothing but success, and I feel my heart in my chest as it beats for no one but you. 'Cause I'm a bird with broken wings who's forgotten how to fly. I'm a little girl at heart, too scared to try. So I breathe in the air that surrounds you, and I get lost in your harmonies, and I close my eyes. You fill the hole, I've done nothing but avoid you. Take my hand and lead me through the noise. I'm a room of all closed doors, and they're all bolted shut. So I rearrange the furniture so it stops collecting dust. I paint pictures of beauty queens on the walls of my mind. I wish and I want for all that is not mine. 'Cause I'm a bird with broken wings who's forgotten how to fly. I'm a little girl at heart, too scared to try. So I breathe in the air that surrounds you, and I get lost in your harmonies, and I close my eyes. You fill the hole, I've done nothing but avoid you. Take my hand and lead me through the noise.
Thank you, Alyssa. So there's some provocative stuff, some deep breaths, some oxygen that we've shared. If there's something that's come up for anybody that you'd like to give voice to, this is an opportunity to do that. As our friend Joni says, the posse is the preacher. You guys often have insightful things to say that I didn't think of. Go ahead, Sandy.
So this was beautiful as always. So I have a very beautiful life, a lot of peace and a lot of joy, and do things that I enjoy. And so to sit here on a Sunday morning and to actually get uplifted from the already beauty is really an amazing gift. And I want to say, and I just imagine that I'm speaking not just for myself, but Reverend Bill, I want to say thank you and I love you. And the reason for that is because you consistently put yourself in a position to support all of us to go higher and to be uplifted. And what an incredible gift that is. So also to Joe and to Breen for doing the same thing. I feel like I just come and just soak in and benefit every week from the gift of your putting yourself in that position. So thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Yeah. Anybody else? A hand going up? Oh, Jane, there we go.
Good morning. So I spent the last couple of days down at the beach with a group of 5 women that I grew up with that I knew since like elementary school. And it was a really nice weekend, but for a really long time, I kind of, there's just something about the dynamics of our group when I'm with them that I just get triggered. All my childhood crap. And, you know, so it's really interesting. I spent the drive home this morning thinking about how much I've changed, how much this work has changed me. And it's like, you know, I'm changing that wallpaper, as you said. You know, it's like when I'm with this group of people, for some reason, it's like I'm seeing that old flowered wallpaper of my childhood. And it's like, it's not my story anymore. That's just a story. You know, I'm stepping in, I'm claiming my unique fabulousness. So I needed to hear that this morning because it was just really, it was almost, the past few days were very challenging for me. And then at one point I was like, good God, I can't wait to get out of here and go home to Brian and Jack. Like, life is so simple at home. I mean, but I also, when I feel those hits of being triggered and not living up to my best potential within myself, it's like, no, stop this, because I've got everything I need. And so
It's beautiful.
thank you.
It's beautiful.
Thanks
you.
for an awesome talk this morning. That was just really hit me this morning. I'm glad I made it back at exactly 10:30 this morning.
Isn't that perfection when that happens? Yeah, when I'm working with, I'm going to call on Annie in just a second. When I work with teens, and we do experiential workshops together, and the advisors who are working with the teens, the adults working with the teens, are instructed to take part in the activities as a participant. So it's not like we're teaching them, we're doing this together with them. And we always have 2 advisors in the group because it is completely possible that one of us is going to get triggered and get stuck in our stuff. And the observation that I made from years and years and years of working with teens and advisors is that all of the issues that we had when we were in high school, those are still the issues. We didn't trade them in for a different set of bags. The only one that we add on is the stuff that has to do with aging. But everything else is remains active until, as Jane, as you pointed out, you notice that you're with those people. And every time that you're with those people, the same buttons get pushed and the same triggers happen. And it's the old wallpaper, and then you can change it. So thank you for noticing and for bringing the report back from the beach. Annie. If you're speaking,
Sorry.
there you go.
I'm talking now. My phone was not wanting to be unmuted. So I guess what came up for me was just being in the flow of gratitude and expecting great things. And I had a really nice experience yesterday after we had our prayer or morning meditation group thing. Somebody from New Thought Philly that doesn't come around anymore text me, and she asked me for a prayer for abundance. And I told her about my experience, and she was like, I guess I was just feeling the energy of what is going on in your life. So she reached out to me, and I thought, like, it's so obvious that we're all connected. You know, I maybe speak with this person over text message once every 4 or 5 months. And she was feeling that good for me. So I am knowing that I can feel that good for everybody connected. Like you said, not just like praying for something good to happen to me, but that everybody's uplifted. And when you were doing the talk, I said, I had the life of my dreams. I said that to Lane, and she started laughing. She was like, not me, because I don't have a dog. And and I was thinking, well, that's, although we're not getting a dog, that's pretty simple to accomplish for the life of her dreams. So it's all about perspective. And I achieved this through this practice of a way of life that I don't want to say it's easy. It's simple. It's just, you know, being committed to reminding yourself of your greatness. So thank you. As Sandy said, thank you, Bill, because You know, you and Dave had just brought so much good into my life by being who you are. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you. And life of your dreams and having a dog. We've had a dog. Our puppy this is day 9 with a puppy here. And life of my dreams, I'm not sure. Would love to get a nap. It's a bunch of work. Anybody else have something to share? Okay. Sarah, you're up.
Hello again. New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We are grateful for every way you share. We don't have a basket today, but there is a donate button on the homepage. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. The offering affirmation is on the screen, and we can unmute and say it all together. I live
in an abundant universe.
I am
one with the infinite of all good. I am a center of conscious prosperity. I enjoy the richness of life.
I bless my gift.
I share my gift, gratitude, and joy. I know that as I give, I do receive.
And so it is. So it is.
Yes. Thank you all. You can mute yourself, everybody except Alyssa, who's going to do another song for us.
May you have auspiciousness and causes of success. May you have the confidence to always do your best. May you take no effort in your being generous, sharing what you get, nothing more, nothing less. May you know the meaning of the word happiness. May you always lead from the beating in your chest. And may you be treated like an esteemed guest. May you get to rest, may you catch your breath. And may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Oh, and may the road less paved be the road that you follow. Oh, well, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, you got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'd be sad without you. I want you to have it all. 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 May you be as fascinating as a slap bracelet. May you keep the chaos and the clutter off your desk. And may you have unquestionable health and less stress. Having no possessions, though immeasurable wealth. May you get a gold star on your next test. May your educated guesses always be correct. And may you win prizes shining like diamonds. May you really own each moment to the next. And may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Oh, and may the road less paved be the road that you follow. Oh, well, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, you got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'd be sad without you. I want you to have it all. 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 Oh, I want you to have it all. All you can imagine, oh, no matter what your path is, if you believe it, then anything could happen. Go, 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 raise your glasses, go, 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 you can have it all. I toast to you, here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, you got a free pass. And here's to the fact that I'd be sad without you. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it all.
Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you, Alyssa. Amazing. And there's a whole talk in there about the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows, because I'm like thinking, I don't want anything worse than my tomorrows. But then I realized that my life is always that bandwidth between the worst things and the best things that happen. Just move the scale. So thank you. And you guys will hear that again. You're so blessed. Let's close with a cacophony. Go ahead and turn your mute off so that you can repeat after me. I am the light.
I am the light.
I am love.
I am love.
I open myself to my good.
I open myself to my good.
I let my light shine.
I let my light shine.
I let the love flow.
I let the love flow.
We are blessed.
We are blessed.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
Yay.
Thank you, guys.